Is Pope Francis even alive? Do we need a proof of life here? There's been no video, no images of Pope Francis from Gemelli Hospital. Don't you think that's a little strange? Why is there so much politicking going on behind the scenes amongst the Cardinals in lobbying for the chair of St. Peter in a coming conclave? And is Pope Francis also participating in this lobbying by allegedly trying to change the rules in order to make it easier for Cardinal Zuppi or Cardinal Hollerich, his preferred choices apparently, to get the nod over Cardinal Parolin, whom he doesn't want to get the nod. Will Pope Francis resign his position in an attempt to lobby and influence who that next guy will be in the chair of St. Peter? We're going to talk about all of that.
By the way, my name is Joe McCLane. I host a radio program called A Catholic Take, where we look at the world through a Catholic lens. I'd love for you to hang out with us. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and let us know what you think in the comments below.
There is a lot of politicking going on the back end amongst the Cardinals. And let's start with this article over at Complicit Clergy. I'm going to link to it below. Make sure to smash that thumbs up on your way down. All right, Francis reportedly attempting to modify conclave rules before he passes. Let's talk about the before he passes first. This is one of the rumors going around right now. I'm also going to link to my good friend Dr. Anthony Stein and his treatment of this topic today at Return to Tradition. It's excellent. I encourage you to check it out. But in my humble opinion, I do not believe Pope Francis is dead or unconscious at this point. I believe him to be in critical condition and not doing well. He is on a roller coaster ride, and he has good times and he has bad times, and I believe he's near the end. So pray for him. Pray for him that he might prepare himself well to die, because there's a lot in his pontificate to answer for. Well, the reason why I believe he is not dead or unconscious and the Vatican is just lying to us and the Gemelli Hospital is hiding it from us is because that is incredibly hard to get all of the people to be on the same page. It's almost impossible. You're going to get the janitor to also lie. You're going to get the person who changes the bedpan or sweeps the floor or changes the bed sheets or the bathroom towels. You're going to get all of those people, let alone nurses and wards and all kinds of people that work in hospitals. All of them are going to lie and keep that secret if the Pope is really unconscious. I would say you're going to hear about that from way more than one or two sources in the Vatican journalistic world. You're going to hear people here in America and in the West, there are in other English-speaking countries, they're also going to be hearing from their sources at Gemelli Hospital, and they're going to be sharing with you what they think about that as well. And because we have not yet seen that, I'm going to say it is my humble opinion, my 2 cents. I could be wrong. I don't know. That he is, in fact, still alive and still working. Why is he still working? Because he is a godfather, and that's what godfathers do. I'll never forget talking to Damian Thompson back in the early days of Pope Francis's pontificate. You might even be able to find that interview on my YouTube channel. Let's see if I can pull it out and link to it if I can. But Damian told me about his time at the Santa Marta Hotel and his encounter with Pope Francis. He described him as a godfather. That's why he lives there, because he wants to put his thumb on the pulse of all that is going on, and he wants to be aware of it all. He wants to know who's coming, who's going, who's saying what are the whispers. He's a godfather. He needed command and control. So I believe that is why we're seeing this article out of from Marco Tossati. I'm linking to the Catholic clergy version of this, the complicit clergy version of this, rather. Francis reportedly attempting to modify conclave rules before he passes. The bottom line is that he does not want Cardinal Parolin to get the nod in the chair of St. Peter in the next conclave, which is interesting to say the least, because if you don't want him to get the job, then why is he in your curia? Fire him. You're the boss. He has to do what you say. So I'm very confused. And Father Charles Murr has tried many times to explain this to me, how this works at the Vatican, but I've never quite wrapped my head around it. Why would I have a guy working for me that I really can't stand and I really don't want to see get the job next? I just fire him, but that's apparently not how it works at the Vatican. So anyway, Cardinal Parolin, according to Marco Tossati, has been lobbying quite heavily behind the scenes to get the kind of base he needs in order to secure the votes in the next conclave to become the next pope. Pope Francis, knowing that this is going on, is considering changing the rules in order to allow for a simple a simple quorum, a 50+1 vote. Why would he do this? He would do this, according to Marco Tossati in the article, in order to give his guys, Cardinal Matteo Maria Zuppi and or Cardinal Jean-Claude Hollerich, the opportunity to beat Parolin out. Okay, well, the one question coming to my mind right away is, if you make it easier, so you can even have less votes to get the nod, and Cardinal Parolin has been doing all of that hustle, it's just easier for Cardinal Parolin to get the nod anyway, right? I mean, am I wrong about that? But it's just easier for Cardinal Parolin to get the nod. Let me know what you think below. But let's look at these guys. I want to compare them. This is the College of Cardinals report.com. I'm going to put a link to this below as well. But Cardinal Parolin, Vatican Secretary of State, of course, I want to go down to here, where they stand is where I want to go. This section right here, where they stand. I'm going to go through these for each of these guys so that you can understand who these men are. Cardinal Pietro Parolin. He is not in favor of ordaining female deacons. He is on the fence about blessing same-sex couples. He is on the fence making priestly celibacy optional. He is in favor of restricting the Vitus Ordo, or the Old Latin Rite Mass, which is where my family goes. So don't love that. He is on the fence of the Vatican, or rather he is in favor, I should say. This is probably his big project, along with the former Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, to set up this Vatican deal, which allegedly, reportedly, rumors say billions of dollars are involved towards the Vatican, which makes up for all that lack of money that we are now not sending through USAID. He is in favor of promoting a synodal church. He's on the team, focusing on climate change. He's all for that. He's on the fence about reassessing Humanae Vitae. Reassessing Humanae Vitae. Let that sink in. He wants to reassess, maybe not. He could be swayed. He is in favor of communion for divorce and remarriage, and he's on the fence about the German version of the synodal way. He's a synodal guy. He's just maybe not up for what the Germans have in mind. That's Cardinal Piero Parolin, who's playing hardball behind the scenes, according to this report by Marco Tossati. He is lobbying to get the job at the next conclave. All right, so let's look at the other two. Zuppi, who is in charge of the Italian Bishops' Conference. He's slightly younger than the others. I think he's 69. And, he's kind of one of these real politicians. He can talk out of both sides of his mouth. He can play. He tries to get everybody to play nicely along, right? That's all his goal is. He doesn't want anybody killing each other. So he can talk to the trads and he can talk to the modernists and kind of keep them all on the same page. Kind of reminds me of Cardinal Daniel DiNardo in Houston, Texas, my bishop, just saying. So let's go to where he stands on the issues. Or ordaining female deacons, he is not in favor. Blessing same-sex couples, he gives it the big thumbs up there. So he's in favor of that. Making priestly celibacy optional, he is in favor of it. Restricting the Vitus Ordo, the Latin Mass, he is in favor of that. Let that sink in. Even though he'll listen to trads, he is in favor of restricting it. The Vatican China deal, he is good to go with that. Promoting a synodal church, yes, he's on the team. Focusing on climate change, absolutely. Reassessing Humanae Vitae, you betcha. Communion for divorced and remarried, absolutely okay. And he's questionable on the German synodal way. Who knows? Maybe he likes him. Bene. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows? I don't know. But that's Cardinal Zuppi. Now let's look at Hollerich. Hollerich, who helped to run the synodal way. You know where he's going to stand on all of this. Archbishop of Luxembourg, a controversial figure to say the least. Let's look at where he stands on the issues. Ordaining female deacons, he's good to go. Blessing same-sex couple, yeah, absolutely. Making priestly celibacy optional, of course. Restricting the Vitus Ordo, absolutely. Those rad trads got to go. The Vatican deal, it's very lucrative, so it's okay in his book. Promoting a synodal church, he was in charge of it, so of course he's all right with that. Focusing on climate change, yes, absolutely. Reassessing Humanae Vitae, of course. Communion for divorced and remarried, you betcha. And he's on the fence, apparently, with the German synodal way. So all three of these guys, they're kind of the same, right? I mean, maybe none of them are as wily as Cardinal Piero Pietro Parolin is, but nonetheless, they're all cut from the same cloth. If any one of these guys gets the nod, we're going to have a lot longer to go before we recover from this synodal way that has done so much damage over in the Francis pontificate. Here's another question we have to ask ourselves. Is Pope Francis going to resign? Now, a consistory is coming, and it's not just cardinals and it's not just saints that you make in a consistory. It's also resigning, just like Benedict XVI did. So it's possible. Will he? I don't know. I'm not so sure that he will. But let's play a scenario out here. Let's just say you're the Pope and you see your death is coming and you're afraid that you could die really at any moment and you're hanging on. And you are very concerned that whoever gets the job after you, will he continue in the vein that you have set the precedent, the agenda that you have laid out over the past decade and more? Will he be on the synodal team? Will he push forward that progressive agenda that the St. Gallen Mafia got and lobbied to get you into office for? If you resign while you are still alive, might you have some say in that next conclave? Might you be able to leverage those powerful St. Gallen-like mafia relationships that you have established over the past decade to bring to bear that one critical vote necessary to elevate one of your key men? I'm not sure who gets the nod, but I can see an argument as to why Pope Francis might be working all of his powerful relationships from Gemelli Hospital in order to make this last effort to ensure that whoever gets the nod next is a guy made in the image and likeness of Pope Francis. Or if changing the rules, is it not still in Cardinal Parolin's favor? Because if he has in fact done all this lobbying on the back end, then he could out-hustle Cardinal Hollerich, who doesn't have as much favor, or Cardinal Zuppi, who doesn't have as much favor as Cardinal Parolin does. I don't know if it's going to matter either way, but I do know this. It does seem to me, anyway, that the clock is ticking for His Holiness Pope Francis. And I would love, love, love to see whoever gets that job to be so scared in the power and the might and the promise of millstones being fashioned just for them, that it might scare them to the point of being courageous, bold, and faithful to Holy Mother Church and the traditions that the martyrs of the faith died to hand on from one generation to the next, by word of mouth or by letter, as St. Paul would say. May they be faithful to Holy Mother Church by giving their lives, taking up their cross, and dying to self, and living for the crucified Lord today and every day. And God help them if they don't, because hell is real and people go there. Let me know what you think down below. Hey, if you like this kind of content, I'd be super grateful if you would consider buying me a coffee. I'll put a link below, and on your way down, smash that subscribe and check out this video right here, because you're not going to want to miss anything.